Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Minimal Monday, the Minimal Monday wrap up number 67, I think. 67, right? Yes. Wow. Every week I feel like I'm saying this, but the quality of work that is being submitted is, yeah, beyond words. Like every single week, you guys are raising the bar for a lot of other photographers that are trying to get into these wrap ups, which is awesome, by the way, because we are all here to learn from each other, and we are all here to push each other to become better at what we love to do, right? So yeah, I'm just thankful um, for everybody that is week after week submitting work, and I'm very thankful that my little video wrap ups are so well received. Thank you all so much. It's all because of you guys. Okay, so let's start this week's wrap up with giving away the Fav of the Day award. And this week, that one goes to Francis Gagnon. He photographed this. Now, isn't this one of the most gorgeous snowscapes you've ever seen? That's at least what I thought was. I had to sit down with this one, just because I really like the selective focus Francis used in his photograph. If you look at this, the edges are blurry, but that doesn't really matter because there's no real definition in the snow. There's no real definition in the sky. You're only gonna see that in the background, and it's actually a pretty neat trick because my eye almost, or no, I should say not my eye, I should say my brain almost thinks that this row of trees in the back almost is a square looking at it on an angle. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but it's basically like a triangle pointing forward, and the point of that triangle is hidden behind the tree, which is a triangle again. You see where I'm getting at? It's just almost like a subconscious anyways, repeat of a shape, and then by using that selective focus, Francis really made sure that tree, that lonely little tree that is out in front of kind of their brothers, his or hers, brothers and sisters in the background, and really stood out, and again, it has that double meaning, it's like that little tree in that tree in the foreground is like a like a scout. He's scoping out the surroundings for his family in the back almost, right? So yeah, I think it's a well-deserved favorite this week. This was definitely a beautiful image, so that I really thoroughly enjoyed reviewing. And again, it's not, photography is not a complex thing if you understand, or maybe I should rephrase that. Photography, a lot of people are making it too complicated these days. It's all about techniques and technicalities and I don't know what. Photography is really about, at least that is my opinion, is about knowing yourself and knowing what you how how you are as a person, and I think Francis used that knowledge almost to he was able to boil this image down to its pure essence. And there's a lot of ways to photograph this tree, or a lot of um, environmental conditions, weather you can photograph this tree in. Not all of them will work, but in the end, Francis was able to produce a very serene image that brings the image across. And if you want to talk about the technicalities about composition, yes, Francis used the rule of thirds. There you have it. And they always first rule is never center anything because it doesn't work. Yes, it does, right? Yes, it does, but not always. And here's an image where it does work. Beautiful image, Francis. All right. I'm glad that is over. That was a long review for one image. Anyways, second image I want to share with you this week is this beautiful work by Didier Desmarais. I've talked about Didier in the past, and he's a fellow Belgian photographer, and I really enjoy his work. Like, this is a darker image of his, but again, don't be afraid of shooting, photographing, or underexposing your images. I mean, black is good. Remember that. If you photograph, if you underexpose by stop, for instance, or 2 stops or whatever, what you are starting to photograph is light. And this is again a prime example of that. And it's probably a wet road, what we call in North America like a range road. This is asphalt. I think it was after a rain storm, or some rain came down, and that is what is glistering, and it, and it's good. I mean, if you talk about technicalities, measure the light on that and overexpose by a stop. I said it, overexpose, because you are measuring the light on your light area, right? Or and it's like photographing snow, right? Beautiful work, absolutely beautiful. Leading lines, gorgeous group of trees. Again, a bland sky, which technically bland skies don't work, right? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, sure. There's not a lot of people that understand minimalistic photography, and I get that. I mean, it's a niche. Minimalistic photography is a niche. I get that, and you're how would I say this? It's underappreciated in my opinion, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these things, because people need to see this quality work, right? And not everyone is photographing mountains with epic sunsets or sunrises and selling them for couple of grand, or couple of $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever. Monetary value over artistic value. It's easy to go with the monetary value, but the artistic value in what we do, what we all love to do in minimalistic photography is, I think, far more important. And I really love to show you all some of the best photographers out there, and Didier is definitely one of my favorites when it comes to minimalistic photography. So again, beautiful work. I love this a lot. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, I'm lucky that some of you actually promote my theme, which is, again, I cannot thank you enough for that. And I've seen Michael Diblicek's image during the day, and I thought, damn it, he didn't post that for Minimal Monday. And I can't remember who it was, but that told him, dude, you need to post this for Minimal Monday. And thank you that Michael listened to, I don't know who it was, but thank you for promoting or doing my job. It's very much appreciated. Because I've been so busy at work for the last 3 weeks. It's not fun. It's anyways, this is again top-notch work, right? This is as minimalistic as it's ever gonna get. Just a group of trees in a beautiful snow pasture, snowy landscape, bland sky again. And again, this is very much Michael Kenna-ish. Just reducing the landscape to shape and form. That is basically what minimal photography is about. And this example by Michael Diblicek is a prime example of how stuff needs to be interpreted. Like, in my opinion, this is killer work. And again, rule of thirds and let's center the trees. Yes, it works. It really works. Like for some, not always, of course, but for some subjects, it will work. Beautiful work, Michael. Thank you for adding this to my little theme. Alright, I'm usually not a big fan of extreme color washes, whatever you want to call them, tonings. But somehow, like, and especially I'm okay with like selenium toned or duotone, maybe, the brownish colors. Bluish colors are usually not down my, what I envision, right? What I like to do, but that doesn't mean that you cannot use them. And Danielle Grabner, we've established this. This theme is all about pronouncing names wrong, right? It's not about photography. This is about pronouncing the names of artists' names wrong. Anyways, beautiful example again of, using that center line, symmetry. Symmetry is one of the things that works in minimalistic photography. And maybe this is not as minimal as the previous example, but it just, it is interesting to see these things on in the landscape. We've seen them, I see them I see them fairly regularly, and I'm kind of still on the fence of photographing them or not, because this is not what I can see. This looks like this house is still inhabited. There's still people in it, and it's almost like, I don't know. Like, for me personally, I wouldn't photograph this, although it is beautiful, and I would give these people 20 more years to move out, and then let the place, like, I don't know, abandoned, and then it all falls apart, and then I would photograph it, But nonetheless, beautiful example of, what I love in this is all the very, very, very subtle textures in the trees. They're all different trees, and they all have like these super fine little branches. Sharpness is absolutely perfect in this photograph, and it's not over the top sharpness, because I've seen that happen before. This has just enough local sharpness. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good work, Danielle. I love this. Here's let's go. Let's do some seascapes. Beautiful example of again a leading line by Giancarlo Barberini. You see, Giancarlo Barberini. We can do the rolling R. And the leading line here is pretty obvious, right? I mean, it's the water starting from the bottom right corner and going to the lighthouse. But the foreground, the sand that is what catches my attention. There's absolutely an insane amount of detail in there, and I think this will really shine in a nice format print, like I don't know, like a 20 by 20 inch or something. Um, yeah, this is a really good long exposure photograph by Giancarlo. His work is really good. You should check it out if you have a second or two. Beautiful for adding this again, my friend. And then let's continue with some seascapes. Finally, Grant Murray. He recently became a father, I believe, and his camera was a long ways away. But I'm glad he found it again. And this is the first image I've seen. Like I said previously, I'm pretty busy at work, so I'm not really up to date with what's going on in the Google Plus world. But this is the first image I see from Grant in some time now, and all I can say is, my God, that foreground is wicked. Like all that layering in the water, and the edge of the water is absolutely dreamy, gorgeous work. Like, and then in that foreground sand, nice and dark, but there's detail. It's not one black blob. There's detail, just enough, to make you look, twice. And then the nice sky. That's a little bit like the look that Grant is after. Dark skies, and it really works with the contrast in this photograph. It's absolutely spot on. Beautiful work, Grant. Thank you so much for adding this. All right, while we're on the topic of seascapes, we talked about the rule of odds in the past. 3s, 5s, 7s, whatever's an odd number often gives you really good results in minimalistic photography. Here's a great example by Michael Svensson. 3 rocks in a long exposure seascape. Really interesting. The only thing I would change to this is I would straighten your horizon. Kind of annoys me a little bit, but there's more qualities to this image than straightening, or having that horizon a little bit crooked. I care about it. It would definitely lift the image, the photograph, up to a slightly higher level, but it doesn't bother me that I go like, I'm not putting this in the wrap up. This is a great example of using that weird rule where 3s or 5s or an odd number of things work well together. Here's another seascape by Nate Parker. By the time we do this wrap up, I think there's about 20 inches of snow on the ground now. But again, Nate chose to use a square crop this time, which is interesting because I was thinking of him as the 4x5 guy. Again, signature work by Nate. Absolutely, again, top-notch portfolio work. I love the subtle, reflection, and I don't know if it's water or if it's ice, but like the rising fog, in front of the trees. I love the layeredness, the layering in this photograph. Absolutely gorgeous work, Nate. And then what about this seascape? Technically, oh, it's a seascape. I mean, but that's not the subject. It's this big stump. This, this piece of driftwood, I guess, is that's the subject, and there's a bunch of detail in there, and absolutely, again, horizon in the middle. Who knew, right? Putting the horizon in the middle is a no-no. No, it works. Really, it does. And Quincy again put the subject in the middle, on the center line, and yes, it works. Like, how many times do we need to prove this? It works. But take any book in composition, or any, let's call it, bad word, beginner photo book about composition, and that will be one of the things to avoid. And I don't know why they keep saying, these authors keep saying these stupid rules, because it doesn't make sense. It absolutely doesn't make sense. Again, great example. Absolutely fantastic work, Quincy. Thank you for adding this again to the theme. Let me check what I didn't feature. Oh, here's a great photograph by Nancy Atwater. A bench underneath a tree in a snowstorm. Absolutely amazing. Like, again, just placing the bench in the middle. Yes, it works. I mean, it. What I like about this image is how much I feel the elements through this image, like the snow, and it's probably cold and windy, and absolutely great work. Beautiful black and white stuff. Beautiful. Nancy, thank you for adding this again, or at least again. I'm saying again. I think this is your first entry ever. So, and then I think yeah, that was it, except for one. I want to show you this exception by Gerard McGrath. Talk about seeing something in nothing. A puddle or a pond, not too large, and there's a little piece of ice floating or is sitting on a rock. Or look at this. Like, I usually hate, seeing electricity poles or telephone poles at my work, but if I see this, I'm really starting to believe there's potential in photographing these things. And again, when you are underexposing your photo or making your photograph dark, you are ending up by photographing light. Absolutely perfect example. And perfect example of what I mean. What I really liked about this photograph as well is how the shoreline it's like an image in an image. It's like a frame. The shoreline is grabbing the or is encapsulating the subject, which is fairly closely placed on the rule of thirds. And yeah, this is really good photography. Thank you for adding this, Gerard. Thank you so much. All right, that was it for this week. There was some really good work posted by a whole bunch of other photographers, but sadly I have to cut these things down. I'm at 25 minutes, which is it's not too bad. At least it's not half an hour. Me talking for half an hour. Yeah. So I guess that was it for this week. I'll see you all next Monday, and I hope we are raising the bar again then. Have a great week, and I'll see you all online next week. Talk to you later.